You probably know Santa Claus as the jolly old man in a red suit who brings presents to children all over the world on Christmas Eve. But did you know that Santa Claus has a long and complex history that goes back to the 4th century and involves a Greek bishop, a Norse god, a Dutch saint, and a lot of Celtic folklore? The story of Santa Claus begins with a real person named Nicholas, who was born in the 3rd century in Patara, a city in what is now Turkey. Nicholas was a devout Christian who became the bishop of Myra, a nearby town. He was known for his generosity, kindness, and miracles, especially towards children, the poor, and the oppressed. One of the most famous stories about him tells how he secretly gave gold coins to a poor man who had 3 daughters but no money for their dowries. Without the dowries, the daughters would have been sold into slavery or prostitution. Nicholas threw the coins through the window at night, and they landed in the stockings or shoes that the girls had left to dry by the fireplace. This is why we hang stockings by the fireplace or leave shoes out for Santa Claus to fill with gifts. Nicholas died on December 6, 343 AD, and was buried in Myra. He was soon venerated as a saint by the Eastern Orthodox Church, and his tomb became a pilgrimage site. His relics were later stolen by Italian sailors and taken to Bari, a city in southern Italy, where they are still kept today. His feast day, December 6th, became a day of celebration and gift-giving in many European countries, especially in the Netherlands, where he is known as Sinterklaas. Sinterklaas is usually depicted as an elderly man with a long white beard, wearing a red bishop's robe and a mitre, a tall pointed hat. He rides a white horse and carries a staff and a book of names. He is accompanied by helpers called Zwart Pieten, or Black Peters, who are controversial because they are often portrayed with blackface makeup and colorful costumes. Sinterklaas and his helpers arrive by boat from Spain in late November and visit children's homes on the night of December 5th. They leave presents and candy in the shoes or stockings of the good children, and coal or switches in the ones of the naughty children. But Sinterklaas is not the only ancestor of Santa Claus. There is another figure who has a lot in common with him, and he comes from the Norse mythology of the ancient Scandinavians. His name is Odin, the king of the gods and the ruler of Asgard, the realm of the gods. Odin is a powerful and wise god who has many names and attributes. He is the god of war, poetry, magic, and death. He has only one eye, which he sacrificed to gain more knowledge. He rides an 8-legged horse named Sleipnir, and he is accompanied by 2 ravens named Hugin and Munin, who fly around the world and bring him news. He also has a spear named Gungnir, which never misses its target, and a ring named Draupnir, which produces 8 new rings every 9 days. One of the most important festivals for the Norse people was Yule, which was celebrated around the winter solstice, the shortest and darkest day of the year. Yule was a time of feasting, drinking, and honoring the gods, especially Odin. Odin was also known as the Yule Father, or Jalnir, and he was believed to lead a great hunt across the sky during this time. He would ride his horse Sleipnir and visit the homes of his people, bringing gifts or punishments. He would also reward those who left food and drink for him and his horse. This is why we leave cookies and milk for Santa Claus and carrots for his reindeer. But what about the Celtic influence on Santa Claus? Well, there is a figure who is very similar to Odin and Sinterklaas, and he is known as Father Christmas. Father Christmas is a personification of Christmas who originated in England in the 16th century. He was a symbol of good cheer, merriment, and hospitality. He was not associated with children or gift-giving, but rather with adult celebrations and festivities. He was usually depicted as a large, bearded man wearing a green or red robe and a wreath of holly or ivy on his head. He carried a sack of food and drink, and he would visit people's homes and join them in their parties. He would also bring the spirit of Christmas, which was a feeling of joy, peace, and goodwill. Father Christmas was influenced by several sources, including the Roman god Saturn, who was celebrated during the festival of Saturnalia, a time of feasting, gambling, and gift-giving in December. He was also influenced by the Celtic god Dagda, who was the father of the gods and the king of Ireland. Dagda was a generous and benevolent god who had a magic cauldron that never ran out of food. He also had a magic harp that could control the seasons and the emotions of people. He was associated with the winter solstice, when he would visit the homes of his people and bring them abundance and happiness. He was often depicted as a large, jovial man with a long beard and a cloak of many colors. He carried a club that could kill or resurrect, and he rode a horse or a chariot. In Greek mythology, there was a god named Dionysus, also known as Bacchus, the god of wine, festivities, and merriment. He was known to bring joy and celebration wherever he went. Dionysus was often depicted with a long flowing beard, just like Santa Claus. He would travel with his companions, known as satyrs, who were half-man, half-goat creatures. These satyrs were mischievous and fun-loving, always ready for a good time. Interestingly, Dionysus would travel from place to place in a sleigh, pulled not by reindeer, but by satyrs. These loyal companions would prance through the night, bringing enchantment to all those they encountered. In Greek mythology, Dionysus would also grant gifts to those who pleased him. These gifts were often blessings of prosperity, happiness, and good health. Just like Santa Claus, he rewarded goodness with presents. But how did Dionysus become Santa Claus? Well, as time passed, Greek mythology blended with other traditions and cultures. Eventually, these ideas transformed into the jolly, gift-giving figure we know today. So, the next time you see Santa Claus with his long beard and gleeful demeanor, remember the hidden origins in Greek mythology. Santa Claus, the modern embodiment of Dionysus, spreading joy and cheer to all. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more videos about Celtic and Irish mythology. And don't forget to leave a comment below and tell us what you think about Santa Claus and his origins. Do you have any other stories or legends about him that we didn't mention? Do you have any questions or suggestions for our next video? We would love to hear from you. Until then, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And remember, Santa Claus is watching. Ho ho ho.